Bunch of air just spewing out of it.
Already packing, come with me. I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Barbara if you're new here, and I make food, travel, and lifestyle content. If you're not already subscribed, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you get notified every time I drop a new video, and it really helps out the channel. So today I decided to do a video about my scuba diving training. I did have an average experience, and I get asked all the time about my experience with scuba diving, and I thought it would be a great video to make and discuss how I could have potentially died twice. My brother wanted to do scuba diving lessons, and I was totally down for it. I thought it'd be so cool to have that certification and be able to have those type of experiences that most people wouldn't be able to have because you need a scuba diving certification. So I signed this and G up for scuba diving, and the first day is just a indoor class where you spend the whole day, I think it was over 8 hours, of just taking notes, watching videos, doing a bunch of charts, and taking a test. And once you finish taking that test and doing all the fun stuff, and you pass, you get to move on to the next day. So after you're done with the test, you get all of your equipment that you need, like your snorkel, your masks, fins, all that fun stuff. And then you also get to test the equipment that you just learned how to use in the class. We come home and we're being total nerds after that long day, and we decided to walk around the house with our fins and wetsuit. Everything was going great, nothing of worry. And then we just had to go to bed early and make sure we were prepared for the next day. So the next day we just have to wake up super early to head over to the college pool to do our physical exams. And then once we pass the physical exams, we do a bunch of training. So on the car ride there, I remember specifically telling G and my brother, whatever you do, don't go hard during the exam. You're gonna poop yourself out. I remember because I used to have to do a bunch of laps when I was in swimming. So for the physical exam, you have to just swim back and forth for 10 laps, and then after that, you just have to float for, I think it was 5 or 10 minutes. I think it was 10 minutes though. I see G take off, and I'm just like, I just knew it wasn't gonna end well. He finishes it, and I see that he's not looking well. And the instructors pull him out of the pool and had everyone continue doing the training, which would be the second part of just floating for 10 minutes in the deep end. While G is getting sick, me and my brother and the rest of the people who are with us in our group continue to do the second part of the physical exam. And during this time, G is just hurling. He went to the bathroom and was just totally sick, to the point that the instructors wanted to take him to the ER because of how sick he got. By the time we were done, we got out of the pool. He was able to convince the instructors that he didn't need to go to the ER just because he was just throwing up, and we decided, okay, we'll just take him home. I ended up rescheduling a week later so G could finish up his physical test and we could all just finish training, because my brother and I did not move over to the training part. So here we go back to the pool a few weeks later, and you know how the universe is usually like giving you signs to not do something? Yeah, I think the universe was giving me all the signs, and I just decided to ignore them. I'm not really sure what I was thinking at this point. We arrive at the pool and we find out that the pool heater is broken, and the water is like 60 something degrees. Colder than what a normal spring would feel like. G jumps into the pool. He starts the floating part of the training. He didn't have to do the first part with the laps because he had completed that, and he starts to instantly shiver. He completes the test and he gets out of the pool, and you can just see he's breaking out in hives, and we don't know why he's breaking out in hives. He's always had a pool, so it's not like he wasn't used to pool water. He we just don't know what happened. Even the instructors were baffled. At one point they thought he was having an allergic reaction to the suit, but that wasn't the case. And yeah, so the instructors pull him out for the day. He's not allowed to continue training. We ended up deciding that G was going to leave for the day again, but me and my brother were going to stay behind to finish the training. We were told by the instructors now to start putting on our wetsuits, grab our snorkel gear, fins, masks, all that, and put it on and hop back into the deep end. And I'm putting on the wetsuit and I just couldn't get it over a certain point. Like if you ever put on a wetsuit, you'll know it's kind of hard to put on. So I asked my brother to help me. He would grab the part of the bottom and pull it up, kind of like you do with jeans, and I would jump so that it push up, because how I had it was causing so much force on my shoulders and it was just causing a lot of pain. My arms were going numb and that I'd be useless in the water. So we do that and my suit rips and I was just like, oh my God, seriously? And in the process, I ended up ripping my nail off the nail bed, like a piece of it. It wasn't that big of a deal, but I was bleeding. And here I have to go to the instructors and be like, yeah, I'm bleeding and I ripped your wetsuit. I was so embarrassed because we were already having so many complications. So we get in the pool and we start doing a bunch of technical training. And there was not really any issues with this or throughout the whole technical part of just like having our snorkel gear. We don't have any of our like tanks or respirators, any of that stuff on. We're just snorkel gear and wetsuit. So we're doing a bunch of that technical training and we get to the part where we have to do learn to do dolphin swimming, which is basically, let's say you're out in the ocean, you lose one of your fins, you're supposed to just overlap your feet together and swim like a dolphin, right? So we're doing all of that, and of course, I lose my fin during the dolphin fin, and I'm just like going deep under in the deep side of the pool, and I'm like, why am I not getting anywhere? This feels weird. And I get to the end of the pool, or halfway through the pool, and I notice like I'm missing my fin. So here I go back to the beginning of the pool and I have to grab the fin. Did that, not a big deal, but again, I think that was another sign. So now it's time to get out of the deep end. We finished the snorkel training. I don't know if that's what it's really called, but that's what I'm gonna call it. So we get out of the deep end, we go put on our BDCs, our tanks and our first stage and get all ready to go back into the pool, but now we're going to the shallow end. And there's about 7 people in our group, not including the 2 instructors, and we all get in a circle. So the instructors get in the pool and they're looking directly at me, and I just like found it weird. You know when people are like talking about you but like in hush hush way that you're like, are they talking about me? Are they not? Kind of thing. So I turned to my brother.
Are they talking about me?
No.
Are you sure? I think they're talking about me. They're looking directly at me. Did I do something wrong?
I don't know.
Okay, class. This is a perfect lesson. So if you look at Barbara's hose over there, you see how it's bubbling? Yeah, well, that's not supposed to happen. That means that it's about to blow.
And everyone takes a huge step away from me, including my brother. So thanks, Junior, if you're watching this. Really appreciate it, bro. But yeah, I'm just staring at the instructors like deer in headlights. Like, is this really happening right now to me? And so Dawn starts walking up to me. She turns off my my tank and gets me a new first stage, replaces the whole thing, and we start class. And at this point, I'm freaking out a little bit in my head. I don't say anything to anyone, but I'm just thinking like, what else can go wrong? Like, I'm freaking out because everything was going wrong with G and now me, and it's just like, is the universe really trying to tell me something, or is this just bad luck. A week passes by and it's the day to go to our next class at Alexander Springs, where we have to go about 25 to 30 feet underwater. I convinced myself that I was gonna be okay. It was just all a fluke what was happening the previous weeks, and everything was just gonna go okay. Like nothing was gonna go wrong. Well, I was wrong. So we do some training out of the water. We do all our hand gestures. We just go over everything. Then we get in the water with our equipment, full suit, tank, BDC, all that fun stuff. And we do training inside the water. We're probably like hip deep, at least for me because I'm short, and we pass that, that's fine. We then move along to the next stage, which is further out at Alexander Springs. I'll insert an image so you guys can see. We go there, everyone's able to stand. I had to use my BDC to keep me afloat because I'm short. Anyways, everything's going great at this point. Nothing's going wrong, thankfully. And we're about to start diving to meet at a ledge that's about 15 to 20 feet deep. And right behind the ledge is like this crater in the spring, which probably goes down 25 to 30 feet. So I want to remind everyone at this point I'm not having any issues with my mask. All of the issues were with my fin because I didn't strap it on correctly, so lesson learned there. My swimsuit, my wetsuit, because I decided to do a gene jump in it, lesson learned also. And then my first stage, which was replaced at the pool, and I got a new one at the dive shop also. So we begin with the technical training on the ledge, and everything's going well. We get to a part where you have to fill up your mask halfway and then clear it so there's no water in your mask, and then take it off, put it back on, and then clear it again. Well, no matter what I did, I could not clear my mask at all. I tried everything, and I'm working one-on-one with the instructor. You have to get cleared by the instructor before he can move on to the next person, and we're just working one-on-one. I couldn't clear it at all. I don't know, at this point I didn't know what was happening. I don't know if our instructor Dave was able to tell that I was panicking mentally. At this point I never actually asked him that, but I was panicking mentally. I was freaking out because it felt like an eternity that I couldn't clear my mask. I couldn't see, and now I'm just slipping into the crater another like 5-10 feet. But anyways, he grabs me like by my vest and pulls me in, and that like brought a calmness to the whole situation, which I am so grateful for that, because there was no sense of panicking at this point. It was just some water in my mask. It's not that big of a deal. But still, when you're down there, when things are not going your way, you start to, freak out a little bit. So Dave ended up showing me a few extra ways to clear my mask, and later on, when we resurfaced, he told me that my mask wasn't fitting me properly, and that is why I couldn't clear it properly. So that was something I did have to get replaced at the dive shop again, which embarrassing. We continue on with our training. We're still on the ledge, 15-20 feet, and we get to the part where we have to do our no air, share air training. Basically, Dawn, our instructor, signals at you, and this is why you guys, you never go scuba diving by yourself. If I'm not a good example, the no air, share air is definitely a great example as to why you never go scuba diving without a partner. So Dawn gestures at me, no air, share air, which I swim over to her, give her my second respirator. She takes a few breaths, and usually at this point, you give each other signals, and you would ascend to surface because you can't continue scuba diving. But because we were just doing our training and it would take a lot of time to resurface and come back down, we just stayed there. So she gives me the okay, and she takes the final breaths, grabs a respirator, slightly throws it away from her so it doesn't get caught in her hoses, and in slow motion I just see my respirator floating off and then a bunch of air just spewing out of it. I didn't think much of it when it first happened. We were, trained for things like this to happen. At first I thought it was just because of how it was floating, so I grabbed it and I was just turning it upside down to see if it would stop spewing. And then that didn't work, so I started smacking it, because we learned that you just smack it, that should help, because sometimes algae or sand or something gets stuck in it and it causes for air to release. So I'm swimming back to my spot on the ledge next to my brother, trying to figure this out, and it's not working. So I go over to my brother and I hand him over my second respirator so he could see like it's spewing out air. And he starts doing the same exact thing as me. He's turning it, he's smacking it, and nothing. It's just spewing out air. And at one point he just signals at me to go to the dive instructor. So I start swimming over to Dawn, our dive instructor, and then water just fills up in my goggles. So I stop dead in my tracks because I can't see anything. All I can see is sand, algae, and grass, if that's what that green stuff was. And I didn't want to really move because I knew somewhere to my left there was like rocks and I didn't want to hit my head. And I don't really know exactly where Dawn is at this point, how far she is, because I'm not seeing a shadow. So I'm trying to clear my mask and it's not working no matter how hard I tried, because my mask's not fitting me properly. So I start looking around for my brother. He finally realizes what's going on and grabs me and takes me over to Dawn. At this point I can just see Dawn's shadow. I can't really see what's going on. I know that she takes my respirator and starts hitting it, because it's pretty loud underwater, if you guys don't know. And I finally was able to clear my mask, and I'm just staring, just remember staring at Dawn. Like I'm just staring with those deer in headlights eyes. That's how I felt. And Dave swims over. He finally notices that something's going on. He takes the regulator from Dawn and tries smacking it again, which was even louder than what she was able to do. And eventually we decided that we had to resurface because I'm just losing air. I'm about to not have air in my tank. And this is within minutes. This was not like half an hour of me losing air. It was just flowing out, and I wasn't gonna have air pretty soon. You start off with about 3,000 PSIs in your tank, and I think when this all started, I had about 2,500, and by the end of this, I was under 1,000. And you want to resurface before you hit 500. I, at this point, was just so embarrassed. To this day, I'm still really embarrassed. And I started panicking in my head. No matter what the instructor said to me, I was just, or even my brother, I was just panicking, like, oh my God, like this happened again and I have to go do another descent, and I don't think I can do another descent. What am I supposed to do? Having to go back to the dive shop to get another first stage and a new mask, because the following day was our final day of diving, and I was not sure if I really wanted to do that. At this point, I was really convinced the universe was trying to tell me not to scuba dive. No one else in my class had any issues. It was just me and, of course, G at the beginning. Well, I was my brother's partner, and I was the only transport my brother had to get to the final day of training. So I had convinced myself, like, I'm just gonna go do this. If something happens here, I know this is officially a sign from the universe trying to tell me, Barbara just snorkel. So the next day we drive over to Devil's Den. If you've never been to Devil's Den, it's so beautiful. I highly recommend you going. I'll insert some images here so you guys can see. It's definitely worth the trip. And if you don't know how to scuba dive, that's okay. You can snorkel there too and you'll still get a great experience. Anyways, my brother had met an older gentleman while we were suiting up. He was telling my brother how he actually was scuba diving 80 feet underwater when he had a heart attack on his last dive. That day was his first day back to scuba diving because his doctor had finally cleared him. And I was just thinking, like, wow, if he was able to go through all of that, then my little problems were so minute compared to having a heart attack 80 feet under. So I was a lot more comfortable diving that day, a little bit more confidence. So we all went and did our training and I didn't really have any issues. The only thing I really had trouble with was learning how not to shoot up like a rocket because of captured air in your vest, which is really normal for newbies. And I just want to say all the issues I had was definitely a fluke. It wasn't normal. The instructors in the dive shop even said it. They were like, it's so strange. So I don't want this video to be discouraging to anyone who wants to go and get this type of certification. I think and I highly recommend going and getting it because it's such a great experience. Bad things do happen, but bad things can happen on a regular day. I do want to give a huge thanks to Dawn and Dave. If it wasn't for them, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have continued. I also want to say thank you to my brother for pushing me and the dive shop for being so kind, even though I ruined their equipment. So let me know down below in the comments if you've ever gone scuba diving and if you've ever had any bad experiences. I'm gonna end the story time here because this is probably already pretty long, but I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button and I will see you guys next week. Bye!